Yeah, good afternoon, all my colleagues in CIEL and all those viewers outside CIEL who are watching this. Welcome to this masterclass. I have an excellent um, professional who's here, a woman, accomplished woman leader who's here on today's platform. Uh, we are fortunate to have got her time. So today's theme is about encouraging women to take on leadership roles. In my mind, all of us, men or women, or irrespective of the genders that we associate ourselves with, uh, the whole universe is full of different kind of qualities and different spirits. There are different kind of spirits such as striving, caring, and many such positive things that we associate women with. And to be successful, whether one is irrespective of one's gender, one needs to demonstrate various kind of spirits, competencies, capabilities. But we tend to stereotypify a gender with certain competencies. We say that men are good in certain things, women are good at certain things, but that might not actually be true. Though the universe has created people differently, everybody has his or her own way or own strengths and own limitations. I think one's gender should not decide one's claim to a leadership position. That's the position that CL takes. We carried out a study some time ago amongst leaders of several organizations, different industry sectors. To sort of this study was a very large study, about 500 plus companies we studied across different industry sectors, whether IT, BPO, startups, MSMEs, pharma, manufacturing, engineering projects. In fact, this 500 odd companies employ about 12 lakh people in India. And we saw that women at the leadership position were just about 10% in these 528 companies. And 29% of the workforce were women. So essentially, actually, Economic Times published this study some time ago. They said 3 out of 10 people in the workforce were women. But when it came to leadership position, only 1 out of 10 were in leadership position. We wondered why, and International Women's Day is a great occasion to really talk about it. And that too, when someone like Minal Koparde, who's here with us, she has more than 2.5 decades of experience in HR, having worked in various companies across different sectors. It's our pleasure to host her, who has worked in a range of sectors, from consumer services products to consulting to IT, and now in manufacturing. She heads HR function in Eternis Fine Chemicals. She's a certified MBTI practitioner, ACTP leadership coach. She has won several awards, most recent one being the HR leader of the year by Eternis Fine Chemicals. Welcome, Minal. Thank you for giving this time to all of us and sharing your thoughts. We have been ex-colleagues from our days in MAFA. We go a long way back in time. It's my pleasure again. Thank you. So let's keep it conversational. I have a few questions. I've already given an opening based on the research that CLHR has done. So the question is that 3 out of 10 people in the workforce are women across industry sectors, but when it comes to the leadership position, 2 people drop out of these 3. 3 itself is low. The way universe is created. Normally, about half are men and half are women. But when it comes to workforce, only 30% in India are women, and that too in the leadership position, only about 10%, roughly. So, what do you have to say, and why do you think there is a gap, Minal?
Okay. So to start with, first, I would just like to congratulate all women out there, all my women colleagues who are part of the workforce and also who are otherwise, doing something else. Maybe right now we've not counted them as, actively part of the workforce, but I'm sure each one of us is contributing very, very effectively in the domains we are in. And also at the same time, I would like to thank and express gratitude to all our male folks, because they also contribute to our lives in our corporate sectors, in our personal lives, professional lives, and also socially. So that's what helps us to be what we are. um, so, and I would definitely answer your question, Aditya, but I love the analogy that you put in, that, we have, all of us have traits and competencies, and it's not restricted to gender. So basically, yeah, very true, because all of us and the whole universe, the way it is structured as yin and yang energy, male female energies. So as and when what we display, so coming from there. But yes, definitely then women are also the nurturers, and that's where probably we see certain drops happening, because all of us now is in terms of education, equal opportunity. We see campuses where we do have gender diversity, almost 50%, or women being educated even higher percentages. And we all start off well at the campuses. We see good representation. Even when campus recruitment is concerned, we are seeing 50% participation starting off. Later, as we move towards middle management, we see it tapers down to about 30%, 35%. And then, of course, then the journey begins to the top leadership, and that's what the numbers that you're also doling out are. In case of women, it so happens, the two clocks are ticking at the same time. There is a biological clock that's ticking, and also the professional clock that's ticking. And basically, women, they have to catch up on both. Of course, both the genders, males and females, but females also being the nurturers, the procreators, the way nature has created. The family responsibilities also then start ticking heavily on them, and that's where we see that women call it as in a pause, or they quit being part of the mainstream, so that's what we need to address, is what I feel. Within India and also globally, if we see the numbers, we're starting well. How we retain this momentum, and how we really motivate or provide support to women to take leadership positions. That's how I think that's will define the equality as we move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said. There is a complementarity in this world, that the men are well complemented by women and women are well complemented by men. That's how nature has created, as well as that's what we see in life, day-to-day life. So it doesn't have to be any different in our work life. However, possibly it is various socioeconomic factors, that there are not enough support system that women are able to avail, or the way our economy is developing. Many people have to move to the places where jobs are available, and hence they have to leave behind the other social support system that existed when they were younger in their life. When a young mother has to pursue work life, as well as take care of the child, take care of various family responsibility, that is where I guess the challenge comes. I mean, that's my understanding. What do you think, Minal, and what can corporates do about it? What are your thoughts about it?
Yeah. So, definitely, that's where the challenge comes in, and then the priority is it becomes of priority becomes family more so, because also it's the children to be taken care of. The next generation. Now, here how the organizations are responding to this, and let me share the good news is, as many organizations that we connect with or know of are waking up to the fact of that there has to be a good representation in leadership teams from of women, because they bring in certain competencies which are of value, and uh, and that's how there are various programs that are coming in. Firstly, organizations are actively looking at numbers in terms of gender diversity, which is very, very good. Maybe a decade back, that was on spotlight. You know. Having said this, now the organizations are putting infrastructure in place, like in terms of flexi working hours, in terms of work from home, in terms of support that organizations can provide as to how women can also take care or nurture child at home or family and plus be at office. So this is where all the trust factor comes in. The organization policies come in. While this all is provided by the organization, I think there is a big role that our colleagues play. So there is lot of work that needs to happen in terms of mindset shifts, in terms of people accepting that women, yes, they are able to contribute equally at work while they are also taking care of things at home, because sometimes I feel that could become as a barrier when it comes to offloading leadership positions to women in certain structures and setup. you know so organizations are also working towards this, the sensitivity training, sensitizations happening. So I think a lot of work is happening in this area. The results will come in, I think, in about next 5 to 7 years, and we will see a good representation. Already, if we say post-pandemic or around 2017-18, the representation was around 17%. Now it's moved up to around, good numbers. I'm talking about mid-senior leadership numbers. So that's where the movement is good. But of course, a lot of work need to be done because we are nowhere close to 50% representation.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. And over a period of time, I see that things are improving. However, we are still far away from where one would like to be. So, okay, in that context, CLHR is proud to sort of mention that 51% of our workforce are women. So we are in recruiting, staffing, business, which are extremely I will not say that it is a very easy kind of a job. It's there are targets that to be met daily, so we work under a highly sort of a objective and number oriented, target driven kind of setup. There are many people that I come across. They say that women are not really suited for target driven organization. I just want to reiterate the fact that it is a myth. It is not so. Whether you like to meet targets, whether you like to work with goals, tight deadlines, that's a trait, that's your personal characteristic. Some men can have it, women can have it. Men may not have it, women may not have it. It is just a stereotype that some of us hold in our minds, that women are not suited for target driven environment. So I just wanted to break that myth. Now we're taking a step ahead to the next dimension of our conversation. Let's talk about entrepreneurship, women entrepreneurs. we did some study recently, and we found that uh, we asked this question to men, women, to entrepreneurs who are kind of nurturing the ambition, who are young entrepreneurs, to share their experiences. So, what 35% of women entrepreneurs stated that they faced discrimination, they faced bias, they were not taken seriously. Whether an entrepreneur was trying to negotiate with vendors for listing on her platform, the vendor was not taking it very seriously. Vendor thought that the entrepreneur is not passionate enough for the venture. There were people, investors, who were not taking women seriously, and sometimes potential senior level hires were not taking very seriously to the founder, who's a woman. So that's what the experience of about 35% people, but good that about 29% of the people said that they struggle to find funding. Thankfully, all these numbers are not more than 50%. So that's the positive thing. But that's one way of looking at it. But the other way to look at it is still 35% of the people are feeling discriminated because they were women. They were not taken seriously when they are when they are founding a new venture of their own. So, how do you reflect on this? This reflects on our society in some way, our education system, our socio-economic system. So, how do you look at it, and what do you think that we should change in our minds?
See, I think it's to do with conditioning and not to do with capabilities or competence. Um, so when we say this, it is that in a certain way we've brought up in a certain culture, okay, and cultures definitely have very deep-rooted impact. So we've seen that initially, in say our grandmother's time, the whole conversation would have been around, oh, am I even capable of going out and doing things, and which later we saw a shift during, say, our mothers who became part of the workforce, was about supporting the family, and that additional income coming in. Okay, I am educated, so let me also support the family. So that's where the needle shifted, and now we see it's no longer about supporting the family. Of course, that's one level, but it's more about how do I express myself, in this world. How do I contribute? How do I unleash my potential? You know, so we've shifted. Now this is the shift that we've seen in ourselves as women, and also slowly around us. The society is also shifting. Yeah. Now the work is towards how do we see this kind of major shifts happening, wherein people are yet or still not stereotyping or have stopped stereotyping women, that okay, they are good only for certain kind of roles, be it say in a service sector, or be it in organizations in support functions. So when it comes to, you mentioned about entrepreneurs and seeking funding, and women looking at profitability, at the same time looking at investor relations and looking at employee relations. So I think this is uh, how people are assimilating, and nothing to do with women competence. And that's what you got to hear also in the study, that they are willing to, but the confidence expressed by the society is on the lower side. So again, I think it's about awareness that we would have to build in. And the World Economic Forum is already working towards it. They have rolled out certain numbers what they would want to see, how women taking stride. And by 2025 also, it's been said that the work is happening in the direction that at least 100 women CEOs in Fortune 500 companies, so
Yeah.
so hoping, of course, there's a lot of hope, and also hope for our Indian women and entrepreneurs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if more and more women come into the leadership roles, then the kind of value, the kind of experiences that they carry back to their family, carry back to their the society that they interact closely with, it is going to be a lot more enriching, is what I believe. So it really, it adds a lot of value, and it further flows down across various levels in the society. So that's a good thing to happen. So we should possibly in our education systems be doing something to really encourage the young girl students to, to prepare themselves for for leadership roles, to aspire for their ambitions to happen, and they should be planning right in their age, in their 20s, to be eh, thinking possibly about the 30s, about the 40s, about the 50s, how the career will shape. Do you think some conversations like this should happen in the campuses? If at all it should, then how it should happen? What are your thoughts, Minna?
Definitely, and I see a lot of value in these conversations, and they should also be inclusive conversations wherein, all our male colleagues also should be part of it, because they're also, will see the shifts happening. Now, what would these conversations do is basically that whole feeling of am I good enough, or feeling of being restrictive, am I do I have my voice, or do I look for voice from somebody else? All this awareness would start coming in, that yes, I can have my voice. I'm saying this because Aditya, you brought it up, and when I was reading a report, and this was about the most powerful women, and it's a Forbes report or a
Folks, yeah,
Fortune report, where they said they themselves didn't knew that they are capable to be the leaders, the CEOs, unless they were told to by somebody else.
right.
So this is where, how we are. Two-thirds of them express this rather. So, if we start early from schools and colleges that yes, we are equal, we have a voice, you have a support system, and you can get into so many careers, definitely it's going to be helpful. Similar conversations within the organization. Now, I'm going to actually bring up a kind of a sensitive topic, but very important to be addressed, is this whole journey of a women from, menstruation to menopause. Okay, because that's where also the career shifts and transitions. So how good are we taking care of our body, because ultimately, it's a whole individual that comes to the work, to office, to workspace, wherever it is, and at home. So women, they also additionally go through these shifts, which are, they need to take care of themselves, which need to be discussed, how they are going to take care of their growing years, how they are going to take care of their years when they are moving towards perimenopausal states, when also probably they are in the realms of senior leadership almost. And that heightened awareness is absolutely necessary. So while we are discussing careers, while we are discussing opportunities, avenues, support systems, also health, mental, physical, has to get discussed, and that nurturing has to happen right from the beginning, and it needs to continue, you know so that's very important. And because we've seen a lot of effects of this in real time, because women, if they are not able to take care of health, they pull out of, again, contributing workforce. I have seen about or discussed when we talk about, and now this is again some real examples about leadership, women in leadership roles. It so happened that when they are towards perimenopausal stages, they in certain meetings, because health is not fine, they felt that they've gone a little blank, or there was a memory fog that came in, just for a while. I mean, these are all emotional things that gets expressed. We should be sensitive towards it, and we should build awareness towards it. And I think we should also be accepting of this, that this can happen, wherein that one instance should not matter or pull my confidence down over my whole trajectory of success which has been built over past 10, 12, 15, whatever number of years. So yeah,
Yeah.
but all this awareness and education is very, very important, and acceptance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is fair to say, like, women go through a certain kind of physical change in their body. Also, there is a mental change which happens for everyone. Even for a man, there are also changes happening. The man also goes through different kind of challenges. So while the work environment is a lot more accepting of the changes which a man goes through from the 20s to 30s to 40s to 50s. The work environment has been a lot more accepting about it. Right, when you are young man, then you have certain responsibilities towards the family, and when you are in your 40s, there may be a different kind of responsibilities. When you ask for a leave or you go on a leave, people don't really sort of make an issue out of it that somebody had to take leave because of this. But when somebody is a woman in her 30s or 40s, or you talked about their physical changes around the menopause, and whatever physical changes happen, one has to deal with it, or pregnancy for that matter, one has to deal with it. So possibly the work environment is not yet fully conditioned, fully aware, accepting the fact that a woman is an integral part and is a valued contributor, certain strengths that one brings to the table, and that's how the person is part of the team. There are a lot of organizations who are kind of driving this agenda of diversity, inclusion, and all of that. Uh, Women, gender diversity, gender inclusion is, of course, a part of this whole inclusion debate. Some people criticize this, saying that some of them really, just to meet certain targets, one is possibly becoming a little, relaxed in sort of promoting somebody from the so-called weaker kind of a cohort. That's a kind of a criticism a lot of people hold in their minds. I'm sure you have heard of this, though this is like the elephant in the room. People don't
Yeah.
really very openly talk about it, but many people really privately talk about it, right? So how do you, I mean, how has been your experience, and
Yeah.
how do you deal with it, you being yourself a strong, accomplished women leader?
So you would see a lot of smile on my face coming up, because only yesterday it's like so fresh. Yesterday we celebrated Women's Day. I am so sure across it's got celebrated, and all our male colleagues were, "What is this now? Why are you treating yourself differently when you all want to be treated equally?"
Right,
So
right.
the conversations definitely have started and still are going on. But yes, having said this, see, it's very important to realize the fact that yes, organizations are accepting, we are there, but there is lots that needs to be done. Okay, we are still talking about 15 and 18 and around 22, the highest 25% population, as wherein we are about 50%. So equal representation, missing. Now, why this whole talk about, women being part of the workforce, or the contributing to economy, or to the globe altogether? Because they bring in certain aspects, or feminine aspects, which also males could carry. I'm not saying only women are predisposed to have them. So basically, the compassion, okay, that's so much that carries weight. Authenticity, then also it's the ability to connect the dots, to take people along, because that's how the wiring has been. So these flavors, become very important when there is diversity, and when there are decisions that are taken across, okay, be it decisions at the political level, at the corporate level, or at as an entrepreneur, or at the social level. So when we have people bring in certain traits, or exhibiting different kinds of competencies, capabilities, and expressions, we'll have a complete team kind of operating on a topic. Only if there is a particular group that's working on it, maybe we may lose out on these important aspects. Okay. So that's very important, and that's what I have been telling the colleagues here when the discussions are happening. Also, at the same time, I hear them. It's not that this is also real, that why we need to call out women separately. See, that's where, as the journey, it would get completed, we have to come to a point where all this gets needs to get normalized. We need not be talking about it any further. It so naturally should happen, like, okay, now that equal representation has happened, and good, like, we need not really be calling out as women workforce and men workforce, because we've achieved probably that equilibrium. So until then, we'll have to keep working towards it, and we'll have to keep doing certain specific things to or interventions, initiatives, to achieve this equilibrium. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said. I think that we have to continue this focus until we sort of make our workplaces almost a reflection of the universe, the nature, Mother Nature. So
Yes.
until that time, it's a journey. It's a global journey that all countries need to take, including India. So we have had very interesting conversation. I didn't realize that it's time has just flown by. Lot of topics we discussed about what's the reality and why it is so. And I hope that through this conversation we have been able to contribute to the workplace, to our society, in certain way of bringing forth your views, your experience as to what the society at large, the workplace at large needs to really look at this particular issue, and the strengths that women bring. You talked about some special wearing that women come with, so that's a certain strengths that one is born with, possibly how to leverage those. Each individual comes with some certain strengths and certain limitations. We need to be accepting of this and really make this a complete holistic place. Otherwise, we will be living in silos. So it has been great conversing with you, Minal, catching up. Thank you for spending the time with us, with our viewers. It has been a pleasure hosting you. Look forward to future conversations. Thank you.
Some one two final words from my side, to us, as we come to close on this. Definitely, once again, acknowledging contributions of our equivalent male colleagues in terms of, how they are supporting, enabling. So that should continue, and which is very good, and we need to appreciate this. Also, at the same time, we women, I feel that we should run a hashtag or something like that, more of us for many of us. So whoever needs support could approach either with general problems, specific problems, be it health, be it whatever, what is to be done. Because at times, when there are people who are able to guide us, help us, it always helps, and it helps in continuity of careers, it helps in sanity of decisions in so many other ways, so yeah. So with that, I would want all women leaders, everybody, just coming forward and supporting each other and supporting whoever approaches us, so, and that's how we continue our journey together and make world a better place.
Absolutely. We'll make this a better place. Thank you. Thank you so much, Minal. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you so much. Yes.